Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeVries, and this is the daily show where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us this morning is Dennis Tzeng.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another brand new episode of Collider Movie Talk. It's Friday, but not only is it Friday, it's the Friday before the season 7 premiere of Game of Thrones on Sunday. So I am pumped up for that.
Also joining us is Matt Knost.
Hi, thank you so much for having me back. It's good to be back. Good to see
Is
you all
it your
down.
second time or your third time here?
It's my
I knew
second.
you were going to ask
I'm
that.
telling you, it's your third
Wendy,
time.
yeah, you and Wendy swear it's my third. I swear to God,
The fans will
I've been here.
know. The fans in the fans.
Go ahead.
Tell them to put it in the
Please
chat.
let them know they're wrong. And I have been here twice. It's nice to be back.
It's definitely your third time back here.
Name's
Also
different
joining
later.
us this morning is John Rocha.
Hello, everyone. Dennis failed to mention it's also the Friday before Comic-Con. Let's make it happen.
Yes.
Let's talk comic books. Let's talk superheroes. I don't know what we're going to talk about today, but let's get it on. Let's get it on. I'm looking forward to it. Happy Friday.
Do you want to just finish the intros or what?
And to my right, the amazing panelist, host, lover of all things amazing, David Griffin.
That's not the intro I would choose for myself.
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
appreciate that, Rocha. Thank you for saying that. I'm happy to be here. It's Friday. It's a Friday before Comic-Con, and Comic-Con's going to be crazy. Because that TV schedule, though.
You know what's crazy is that shirt you're wearing, that Hawaiian shirt. That's crazy. Look at that thing.
It's
Let me get a
Fun
close-up
Shirt
on this
Friday.
thing.
Fun
It's
Shirt Friday.
Fun Shirt Friday.
I'm going to go blind sitting next to him.
All right, guys, before we get started, I want to remind you guys, I know Mark had talked about this yesterday, but we are having not only a meet and greet at Comic-Con this year, but we are also having Movie Talk Live. And Movie Talk Live is actually going to be on Thursday, July 20th at the American Comedy Company. And the address is 818 6th Avenue. Doors open at 1:30, and then the live show starts at 2 o'clock. So you're going to see a bunch of us there. We're going to do a show live. You guys can come out there. Wristbands are being handed out at 1:30, and the show starts at 2, ends at 3. And not only that, we are going to have the meet and greet that same day at 6 p.m. at Fox Sports Bar and Grill. If you guys were there last year, it's the same place. It's at the Bayfront Hilton, and it's right on the first level. So 6 to 8 for the Fox Sports Grill for the meet and greet, and 2 to 3 p.m. for the American Comedy Company for the live movie talk. So we hope to see you guys there. Sinead, what do we got first?
According to THR, Wonder Woman now boasts the best hold of any superhero film in more than 15 years at the North American box office. The movie is still going strong as it heads into its 7th weekend, grossing $371.3 million through this past Tuesday, and all but assuring to top out at $390 million or more domestically. This will place Wonder Woman as the number 8 comic book adaptation of all time and will soon pass Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 as the summer's top grosser. It also means that Wonder Woman will earn roughly 3.8 times the $103.3 million that it opened with, the best multiple for a genre film in decades. And to remind fans that Wonder Woman is the new draw for future DCEU films, EW released a new image from Justice League that previews its San Diego Comic-Con presentation featuring The Flash, Batman, and, of course, Wonder Woman. The next time we'll see Diana Prince on screen again will be this fall when Justice League hits theaters on November 17th. Dennis, what do you think about Wonder Woman's staying power at the box office?
Well, first off, with that picture, I'm going to hold off, and I know these guys have a lot to say about that. The staying power Wonder Woman, it tells us two things. That, one, you can have a female-led superhero movie and have it do well. I mean, in the past, we've had not so great ones like Elektra and Catwoman, and they haven't done well, and people point to that, oh, you can't do that. It's like what I say with everything. As long as you put the resources, the talent, the passion into these films, you're going to get good ones that people want to see. Right now, with something like video game movies not doing very well, eventually you will see good video game movies. Just like people forget, comic book movies were not that great. You had good ones like the Tim Burton Batman 1989. You had Superman before that, but you had a bunch of crap like Phantom and a bunch of other random superhero movies that came out that studios really didn't invest the talent and the money into. And so now with Wonder Woman, I think that's going to lead the way. Now they can invest more. We're going to have Captain Marvel from Marvel Studios, and I'm sure that's going to lead to a bunch of others. The second thing is this proves all the kind of BS that a lot of fanboys were talking about, like people are biased against DC and critics hate DC. People don't hate that. Look at the box office numbers for this. Both the critics and the audience love this film, and it has staying power for that reason. It's simple. Just make a good movie people want to see, and people will watch it. Rocha?
Yeah, this is so true, Dennis. All these tropes and all these things. Oh no, women aren't funny. You can't have female-led comic book movies. All that stuff. It is all crap. It's all about making a good movie. That's all that matters. It does, and like you said, the video game movies, there'll be a good one eventually down the road, because if you have the right writers, the right talent, all that, you can make a good movie. It's not rocket science. So to me, it's just all these things that they create are just complete stupid narratives. But this is amazing. This is a really fantastic thing to happen. And it's not really a shock to me. I mean, I said this a few weeks ago on Movie Talk before the movie came out. If this thing is a good movie, like the critics were saying before the movie came out, it was going to make a lot of money, because the women have been dying for a female-led comic book superhero movie, and then it's something that was family-oriented. So people are going back over and over again, bringing their families, little girls, little boys. People are into it, the movie, and they've gone back. I've seen it 3 times. So when it's a good movie, you go back and watch it over and over again. And I think with our society now, all the conflict and the stress and the anger and all the stuff that's going on in the world, it's nice to go to a movie theater and see a movie that reminds you of principles and honor and nobility and fighting for what's right. And it's there with no judgment on either side. It's just about a noble superhero finding her voice and finding her place in the world and defending the things that she believes in. And I think we've all been wanting something like that in the movie theater. So it's not a surprise that it's made as much as it's doing. And it's not a surprise also the rumors that they're doing the reshoots for Justice League to kind of maybe focus a little more on her, have her more do more stuff. And when you look at that picture, I wish we'd seen like a more frontal shot of her where she's more in command. In that picture, it's Batman who's really front and center, and really the front and center thing is that massive codpiece of his, which is out of control. Look at that thing. I mean, he's got 2 basketballs in there. It's ridiculous. It's a little unsettling. Like, it really is. It's so unnecessary to have that codpiece in there. And so I just was like, what are we trying to... Are we still in those old cliches about having to make it look big, which conveys strength? Yeah. Are we really in that dumb cliche still? So for me, it bothers me a little bit. But that being said, this is so awesome about Wonder Woman, and it couldn't happen to a better film.
So is this picture bothering you, David?
No, I mean, sometimes, if you ever played baseball or anything, you got to wear a jock strap. You put a cup in there. I mean, Batman might get kicked in the junk and need protection. I mean, that's dangerous out there.
That's not a cup, that's a goblet. It's a mug, man.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, clearly.
No, all seriousness, I'm so happy to hear that Wonder Woman has all the staying power. One of my favorite things about the Wonder Woman film was that I loved how, unlike Captain America, the first Avenger. Now, granted, that was World War II, different war, but I felt like World War II was more just kind of like a backdrop. It wasn't a focal point of the movie. I felt like with Wonder Woman, they actually embraced World War I. The whole thing with trench warfare, when she first got there, she's like, hey, where's the front? Like, where's the war? And it's like, no, these guys have been camped down in here for a year, just like kind of taking it seriously. Like, yeah, it's a superhero movie, but like, stuff happened. Like, World War I's a real event. Like, let's have some respect for World War I. So I love they did that. That's why I think this movie's appealing to so many people, because even if you're not a superhero fan, let's say you're a history buff, you could enjoy going to see Wonder Woman like over and over again. That's why I'm so glad it's doing well.
Matt?
I'm still that picture is absolutely one of the most ridiculous things. I just visualize Affleck in a studio with like a gem loop going through photo after photo going, this is the one. This is the one. Notice how the light just shines beautifully, draws your eye right into it. So that's all you're focusing on. It's brutal. I can't believe that was the choice. No, I love the movie. I like the conspiratorial angle of what you're saying with DC fanboys saying we're all out against DC. Yes. And all we wanted as as viewers is make a good movie. Yeah. And I'll gladly pay to see it. And you'll see it, 3 times. Yeah. And everybody else will see it numerous times. That's all we wanted. And I did appreciate the World War I aspects of, I've read tons of books on that and just the amount of shell shock and guys living in trenches for a long time as millions of pounds of ordnance comes down. You could see that fear on their faces. And as she crosses into no man's land, it was a great visual. And the movie was so chock full of that. And plus, I think they took something from Marvel, maybe not took something, but brought a little bit more lighthearted, brought some jokes into it, and made it a more even storyline where there are some lighthearted moments, but there's also some serious things that are going on as well. And it was a nice blend, which they haven't really done all that successfully, at least on DC's side. So yeah, I'm happy for it. Hopefully, if they can continue to make a product like this, let's make 5 of these. Let's make 10 of these. Who cares? As long as they're entertaining.
Sinead, what do you think about Wonder Woman's staying power at the box office?
Well, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I have not seen Wonder Woman.
What?
You guys, I barely make it out to the movie theater very often anymore. I did see Spider-Man last night.
Okay.
So I will see Wonder Woman very soon. But I think it's incredible. If there's anything that's making me want to go see it more, it's the fact that
So you dropped your phone?
Failed.
it's the fact that 7 weeks later, right? Like it's still outgrossing everything. And everybody I've spoken to is like, oh yeah, I've seen it multiple times. So that's also really important because I feel like if you really enjoy a movie, go see it more than once in the theater because it's important for us to go to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for people who love movies and want to see movies and support the film industry to go to the movie theater. So I thought that was really cool that this time around, I feel like so many people I've spoken to have been like, oh yeah, I've seen it 3 or 4 times and then I took my kids or I took my wife or whatever. So yeah, but I will. I need to get on it. I know. I'm sorry. I'm letting you all down.
Wendy?
I am so happy for
feel so
Wonder
bad.
Woman, and it really doesn't surprise me. I think this is a fantastic movie, fantastic cast. Love the director, and plus, I'm pretty sure I not only helped the box office because I've seen it 3 times now. I've also helped with all the merchandising because I literally bought everything Wonder Woman.
Good for you.
Yay!
All right, what's next?
According to a report from Deadline, after months of badgering, Joe Pesci has agreed to co-star in Martin Scorsese's gangster drama, The Irishman, reuniting him with his Goodfellas and Casino director, as well as Robert De Niro. De Niro stars as hitman Frank the Irishman Sheeran, who confessed to the real story of the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa on his deathbed. Whoops, sorry. My computer turned off.
Oh.
Back to it. Pesci, who turned down a role rumored 50 times, will play mob boss Russell Bufalino, who has been long suspected of being involved in Hoffa's disappearance. And in addition to De Niro and Pesci, Al Pacino's deal is also currently being finalized. Production begins in and around New York next month and will continue through December with a release date unclear at this point. Rocha, your thoughts on Joe Pesci finally signing on for The Irishman?
Oh, I absolutely love this. I'm such a massive fan of whenever Pesci does stuff with Scorsese, Casino, Goodfellas, whatever. I mean, before there was John Wick with a pencil, there was Pesci with a pen in Casino, which is some scary scenes. So he leaves a mark in whatever film he's in when he does Scorsese stuff. I really enjoy that. And if you want to talk about comebacks, which is something we might be talking about on the Top 10 show, this is what a way to come back with an environment like this. You've only done a couple of movies in the last 8 years, 9 years, or 10 years even. So it's just like you want to come back in this kind of situation. It's so insane to me that he has this legend of being asked to be on these films and turning it down. He turned down, was it Goodfellas for a little bit?
Yeah.
And when he originally was approached for Raging Bull, I think the legend is he was a bouncer at a Philadelphia club, and he kept turning down Scorsese and De Niro, and they kept coming back and pitching him to be De Niro's brother in the movie. So it's craziness that he keeps kind of turning this stuff down, but it also speaks to the fact that they respect him as an artist and know what he can bring to this character. And the fact that you've got Pacino jumping on this, now there's rumors of Ray Romano, Harvey Keitel, which of course started out on Mean Streets with Scorsese. So there's a lot of, this feels like Scorsese kind of like coming back to almost like bringing the gang back together all over the place and seeing what he can do with this movie. And it gets me super excited, especially to have Pesci. I mean, My Cousin Vinny, so many things that he's done that I already mentioned. He just leaves a lasting mark of whatever film he's in. So I just think it lends the film more credibility and more gravitas. So there you go.
Everybody drink.
There we go.
Matt?
It's great. Who doesn't love to see Pesci in a Scorsese film? Because he seems like he's all of 4'9". You know what I mean? When you look at him, you're like, nothing. This guy is nothing. But the rage and intensity he can summon out of nowhere, and Scorsese knows how to take advantage of that better than I think anybody. So, of course they had to ask him 100 times to be in it because he was just, I don't know, doing anything else with his time. He's like, eventually they'll get to me. They got to finalize the deal anyway. I'll be fine. I'll get back on board. But just bringing all these people together, it's going to be, I don't even care if it's good or not. I'm going to see it regardless. Just because it's everything that I love. It's Scorsese, it's Mob, it's De Niro, it's Pacino, it's not Pacino.
He's
in it.
Pacino is in it, yeah. Keitel, Bobby Cannavale, Ray Romano, and of course Romano is what draws us all in. Oldman.
Yes, yes.
That's what's got me most excited.
Do you need to be killing those people?
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, just like in Vinyl, he was great.
Yes.
Another Scorsese thing. So it's like, okay, sure, let's get Romano in there. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I love this. Everyone knows that Goodfellas is my favorite movie, and the chemistry between De Niro and Pesci is remarkable, and also in Casino. And then you also mentioned Bobby Cannavale. He was fantastic in the third season of Boardwalk Empire.
Yes, he was.
He was the villain, and that was a gangster movie, and so I think he'll kill in this. One thing too, it's like we talked about this a few weeks ago with Okja and some other films. Like, are the people at Cannes gonna boo this film too? Like, boo this because it's
Right.
funded by Netflix. We're gonna see it on Netflix. Are they gonna show it at Cannes and then they're gonna boo a Martin Scorsese movie? You know,
If
like
the second they booed, De Niro's just gonna stand up and look at everybody. He was going to shut up. That's basically what happened. Or Pesci.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. David, what do you think about
I'm
this?
pumped. I mean, the big thing for me is I love seeing we're gonna get De Niro and Pacino back on screen together. I mean, of course, like The Godfather 2, even though they didn't really share screen time necessarily. I mean, just the father and son relationship there, and then in Heat, Michael Mann, and now we're gonna get him with The Irishman. I mean, those guys are like Godfather 2 is my favorite movie of all time. So I can't wait to see these guys back together. And of course, Scorsese, like he's almost 80. And he keeps working.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he just did Silence, which no one saw. And I think it's a fantastic movie about the Jesuit priest over there in Japan. Gotta go see. It's got Adam Driver, Kylo Ren's in there. You got Andrew Garfield, the former Spider-Man, in there. Like, no one saw it, but I thought it was an excellent movie. So Scorsese's working. He is passionate. He has not lost any of his drive. So I mean, the fact that he's getting all these guys together, these guys are huge actors, multimillionaires. They don't need the money anymore. But he's able to bring all these guys together. I think that speaks volumes, and they still respect this guy. They want to work with him. So
Yeah, I can't wait for it to come out. All right, now we're moving on to Buy or Sell. Sinead, what do we got first?
More images have been released from EW's special Comic-Con edition, and this time we get new looks and concept art from the Stephen King adaptation of It. The movie is due out in theaters in less than 2 months and will feature an R-rated take on the popular novel, one that Mama director Andres Muschietti hopes will please the die-hard fans of the source material. The movie hits theaters on September 8th and stars Bill Skarsgård, Jaden Lieberher, Wyatt Oleff, Jeremy Ray Taylor, Sophia Lillis, Finn Wolfhard, Jack Dylan Grazer, Chosen Jacobs, and Nicholas Hamilton. David, do you buy or sell the new images and concept art from It?
Dennis, I think you sent me the wrong art. I think I have the Stranger Things 2 set photos. Here. I think this is, not the right. No, I'm excited about it. That trailer is freaky. I remember I saw a movie the other day, and I remember when that trailer came on, like the audience was just quiet. Like everybody was talking through all the other trailers. That one, everybody was still because it just looks incredible. And I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think I heard they're going to try to split this up into 2 movies because we're going to get the kid's story first, and then of course the later part of the book is when they're adults. So I'm pretty fascinated about seeing that. But it looks terrifying. I read that book when I was a kid. Probably shouldn't have, and I know it just scared the living daylights out of me. So I can't wait to see this again. Just seeing those kids react to what they're going through in those scenes, like with Pennywise and everything. I mean, it just brought back all that fear from when I was a kid. I'm very excited for this.
Matt.
I'd buy it for sure.
Yeah, whatever they're selling, I'm buying. I like you, read the book when I was way too young.
Yep.
There are numerous scenes within it that still have carried with me 20-something years later, where you're never going to be able to please the fans on this just because the book is so thick. You're not going to be able to get into it. And plus, there are certain things in the book that should never see a cinema screen ever. There's a couple in particular that's just like, I don't even know why he put this on the page. You were going through a hell of a cocaine addiction at the time.
Right, yeah.
And some of that spilled out onto your typewriter. It's brutal, some passages in that book. But, the 2 trailers, and I never watched trailers. I have watched those things on repeat numerous times, and I've seen dissections of the trailers. And any image that comes out, I am so just enraptured by everything that is it. I cannot wait for this to come out.
Yeah, I actually only watched the trailer. I'm going to buy this. I only watched the trailer more recently. I think at the time when it had come out, I was holding off on purpose because we were going to do a trailer reaction. We ended up not doing it, and I just never came back to it. It's frightening. Yeah. It's really scary. And these pictures look great. They remind me, obviously, of Stranger Things, the tone and also the actors, but then also Goonies. You see the caves there and underground. This is one of those films where it's like a horror movie that everyone knows I'm not that into them, but something like this, I definitely going to go check out. Rocha?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these pictures really convey the darkness and the horror that this film is going to be. Everyone speaks about the TV version, with Richard Thomas, I think is John Boy, John Ritter, like all these actors that were in it. And of course, Tim Curry is Pennywise. They speak about how powerful that TV adaptation was, and that's the limits of television. So imagine being able to do an R-rated film and to be able to explore the scope of the horror within the book itself. And it's like Matt said, like there's a lot that happens in there that's really unsettling, and you'd be surprised if it shows up on screen. But this shows you what they're playing with. And Dennis, you're right. I wrote that down too. To me, this seems like a way better Goonies. And so this is the Goonies I could watch, and this would be awesome to see what they can do with this. And also, are they playing? Because there's rumors that the plot is a rescue mission. Because in the book, he gets his arm torn off, and they come up and they find him a minute later. But this supposedly is them going against the clown to try to find their friend Georgie. If this is the way it goes, I wonder how that's going to affect the second film with the adult storylines and everything like that. So that's beside the point. If you're talking about the images, I buy the images absolutely, because I think they get me super excited to see a horror film that's going to scare the hell out of me.
Cool. All right, what's next?
Focus Features has released the first trailer for Darkest Hour, the new historical drama from Atonement and Hannah director Joe Wright. Written by the Theory of Everything's Anthony McCartan, the film stars a totally unrecognizable Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill and begins on the eve of World War II, chronicling Churchill's push to get England to stand up to Nazi Germany and enter the war rather than negotiate a treaty. The film also stars Kristen Scott Thomas, Lily James, and Ben Mendelsohn, and opens in theaters on November 22nd. Matt, do you buy or sell the first trailer for Darkest Hour?
I buy it. It was excellent. Just watching it, of course, Oldman is just Oldman. You're like, okay, well, you did it again. I don't know how you did it. He does it every time. Even if the movie or whatever he's in isn't that great, he's always excellent. So I'm already on board just from that, just because you got Gary Oldman and got Gary Oldman committing 100% like he always does. And you see the trailer and, they're just going to, at least it appears, encapsulate the wartime leader, which is Churchill, which is him at his finest. He was not a peacetime, leader of that country. Didn't really do that well. But in war, he was the force to be reckoned with that could go up and butt up against the Nazis and take them on and actually give them a fight. And you see that tension. You see the progression. I like the initial of why are we going to this guy? Because he failed. He failed miserably in World War I, as a lot of people in military positions did. And just supposing that's where they start, and they just the arc of, I wonder how long they go. Do they go all the way to the end, or just some pivotal moment? But they've already got me kind of transfixed and drawn into the trailer in and of itself. So yeah, I'm buying.
David?
Yeah, I'm going to buy this. I mean, I love the team behind this. I'm a big Joe Wright fan. I mean, I loved Atonement. He did the 2005 Pride and Prejudice, and everybody knows I'm a big Anglophile, so of course I love that too. My big thing though too is I'm just excited about getting more Winston Churchill, because one of my favorite shows of last year was The Crown. Yeah. And you had John Lithgow playing an older Churchill. This is when Queen Elizabeth was coming into power, so he was much older, kind of more at the end of his, power. But so I'm excited to see him as a younger Churchill, or kind of younger, going through World War II at his peak, at his prime. So that's pretty fascinating. We get all these different versions of Churchill, because John Lithgow was incredible, and I think we're going to see incredible performance from Gary Oldman. I mean, just thinking about like Dracula. Like way back in the early 90s, like he was so good in Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Even like The Fifth Element, like you said, even if the movie's kind of silly, playing a silly villain, he still owns it. He just owns whatever role he's in. So I'm definitely buying this.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it as well. I mean, Gary Oldman just proves again why he's one of the best and most versatile actors. You just mentioned like Fifth Element. He also was in Leon. This is the same guy who plays Commissioner Gordon. And you look at this, you can't even tell that's Gary Oldman. I love the line where he was talking about not negotiating with the tiger when your head is in its mouth. I kind of didn't like how that got stepped on by the comedy. I forgot who interjects in there, but it has a great cast too. You have Lily James, Kristen Scott Thomas,
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn. Joe Wright for me is hit and miss. I mean, I like Hannah. Atonement, I didn't care that much. And then he did Pan most recently. He had, I think his directing, I think he can take this this movie and make it a really good one. I'm just a little more hesitant just because of some of the films I've seen. Rocha?
Yeah, listen, I'm a massive World War II movies fan, so I go see just about anything that's World War II movie based. I even saw the Churchill one that came out with Brian Cox earlier this year that was middling at best, but it was still nice to see Churchill. And I'm a massive Churchill fan. There's a great documentary on Netflix called Churchill, A Man of Destiny. If you want to watch and hear more about him and what Matt mentions, his progression from the failures of World War I into the success of World War II, and then kind of failures after World War II, because you're right, he wasn't a peacetime prime minister. He wasn't effective as that. But people shine. And in World War II, that's, I think, was why World War II is so amazing and keeps our attention still so many years later, 70 years later, is because so many people stepped up and showed what they could do at the most critical junctures in our world's history, not just country's history, world's history. And Churchill is one of these guys. You know, his quotes are so famous. They're so powerful. And when I first saw the images of Gary Oldman as Churchill a few months ago, I was crazy excited because you're right. He's unrecognizable. You can see Gary Oldman in the trailer, his acting style, those things don't go away, you know, but especially when he's like, stop interrupting me, you know, all that, you see all that, the Gary Oldman syntax, right? But it's so fantastic the way he's bringing this guy to life, and he's really embracing the size of this man in certain moments, you know, and you get a window into this relationship with Kristen Scott Thomas, who's playing his wife, who I've loved since The English Patient. So there's going to be stuff that's going to balance out all this other things. And the way the trailer builds, it's heart pumping, all, you know, like boom, 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 to that moment where he's like, there is no survival without absolute victory. And, you know, all that. So what he's saying, so all of that builds to that moment. So to me, I buy the trailer. It gets me super excited. And I hate that we have to wait any longer than one day to see this movie, because I just love Churchill and I love World War II so much. Cool.
All right, what's next?
BH Tilt has released the first trailer for Birth of the Dragon, directed by the Adjustment Bureau's George Nolfi. Birth of the Dragon tells the story behind the legendary 1960s fight between Shaolin Master Wong, Jack Man, and a young Bruce Lee, told from the point of view of a young martial arts student whose allegiance became torn between both men. To this day, people still argue about who won the famous fight. The movie is set to hit theaters on August 25th, 2017. Dennis, do you buy or sell the first trailer for Birth of the Dragon?
I want to buy it because it's about Bruce Lee, but I'm going to have to sell it. I mean, it's strange. We were talking beforehand about how it's being released by Blumhouse. You also have WWE Studios in the mix. And look, I'm interested in the Bruce Lee story. I don't know if this actor, Philip Ng, really embodies Bruce Lee. We've seen Jason Scott Lee do Dragon before, and I felt more connected to that and that storyline. And the way they're making this movie seem like, because I've watched a lot of documentaries on Bruce Lee, and from at least, you know, what his wife tells of this story, the fight was pretty short and pretty one-sided. And they make it in the trailer look like it's like some sort of Matrix, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon thing going on, and it's probably going to make it look like Bruce Lee barely won this fight or something like that. But according to what I've heard and read, not so much. Rocha?
Yeah, I sell this thing so greatly because it just flies in the face and it insults the memory of Bruce Lee. And for those of us that grew up at a certain time, Bruce Lee was someone that we admired, we idolized, we watched his movies. I still have The Tao of Jeet Kune Do as a book in my house. Like, I read that thing thoroughly when I was a teenager. On the Cinephiles, we covered Bruce Lee on one of the films that we covered for him, and Enter the Dragon, and we talked about what legacy he left as a martial artist and as an actor and as a representative of people coming over to this country as immigrants and being successful in this country doing what they're doing, not with their films coming over, I mean, being successful and things of that nature, and him being such an icon and driven to achieve these things. And what you see in this movie is a stupid promo for what feels like a WWE fight, and I've got nothing against it. I love the WWE. You see me on the Schmodown. I love it, but I don't think it belongs here. There's a certain reverence and respect that you have to have for the subject material, and we're far past this idea of based on a true story, so we can just write whatever we want. We're way past that as a society. There has to be respect paid to the actual story, and this feels like they're manipulating his legacy to create some super fight, and it's just not. It just makes it feel insulting to what he and his principles were all about.
David?
Yeah, I agree. It just looks kind of silly.
Yeah.
And you can have great action. Remember those the Ip Man
those are
trilogy?
great.
Those are great. That was Bruce Lee's teacher, one of his teachers.
Yeah.
And I thought they had great reverence and respect for Ip Man, but it wasn't silly. I mean, it wasn't silly or stupid. So I wish they would have, I guess, taken a little bit more I don't know, respect, like you said, with the material and parts of the movie. Because I think it could have been really interesting. Because I don't really know that much about Bruce Lee. Well, obviously, I know Brandon Lee. I know his daughter Shannon Lee. Remember, it was that like WWE style show. There's that martial arts show that Shannon Lee used to host on like Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
It was silly. It was fake, but I mean, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I really like the Bruce Lee family. So I'd like to learn more about him. But this doesn't look like a way I'm gonna. I should probably just read the book.
Matt?
It's a sell. I don't imagine. I can't imagine anybody I know going, I'm seeing that. There's numerous points. You brought up the crouching tiger. The guy runs up a concrete pillar. It takes like 5 steps. It'd be one thing if you took like 1 or 2 and then did it. But I don't even think Bo Jackson can do that with a 100-yard sprint behind him. And you can look that up on YouTube. That actually happened, as opposed to this, is I don't even know. Like he runs up a concrete pillar and then does a Matrix backflip, and you're like, what the F is going on? There's another point in it where he gets into like some sort of street fight and the guy like rips his top button. So Bruce Lee just, let's go. I need to show you my just chiseled abs and everything. Like, I don't understand what is going. Is this what we've boiled the essence of Bruce Lee down to? Is just an incredible body, and he just does this every once and again, and he fights random strangers. It's just like there's so much more to this guy than what this is presenting. So yeah, this is an easy sell for me.
All right, now on to the last buy or sell.
Director Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise took to social media to reveal a new Mission Impossible 6 cast photo, celebrating the wrap of production in New Zealand and revealing the core cast of the new sequel. Tom Cruise returns as Ethan Hunt, joining returning cast members Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, Rebecca Ferguson, Sean Harris, Michelle Monaghan, and Alec Baldwin, with franchise newcomers Henry Cavill, Vanessa Kirby, and Angela Bassett. Christopher McQuarrie, who previously helmed Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, is once again writing and directing the sequel, with the release date set for July 27th, 2018. Rocha, do you buy or sell the first full cast photo from Mission Impossible 6?
Oh, yeah, I buy it. I think it's a great shot of all 4 of them, and it shows a powerful team. You know, they're all kind of bundled up, ready for action, you know, and everyone's got their own position and the way they're looking. Of course, they're all looking up at something coming down the hill. Who knows what it is? Maybe it's the mummy. But they see themselves looking at his coming down the hill, and they all have their own, like, approach to it. I love how Tom is standing there. He's the leader of the team, legs spread, a shoulder width apart, ready to jump at any moment to fight whatever's coming down the pike. You have Luther. He's got his stuff hanging on. He's not clutching to his stuff. He's just hanging on, ready to go at it if he needs to. You've got Simon Pegg. He's a little more confident now. He's been doing, 3 or 4 of these now, and but he still has the skeptical look on his face. And then you have Rebecca Ferguson just chilling out in the back with that smirk on her face that says, bring it on. I can handle whatever you got. So to me, this is a great photo, just release. It doesn't get me like crazy excited about the movie, but it lets me know that this is a strong team that's coming back to do a 6th iteration of this movie, or 6th installment of this franchise, and it helps me forget the mummy. So anything that helps me forget the mummy, because Tom Cruise, I love you to pieces, and you are great in these movies, except for the second one, but you are great in these movies, and so come back to this, do great work on this, and help me to forget the mummy and move forward.
I'm going to buy this as well. I mean, look, the picture is not showing anything special, but the fact that Rebecca Ferguson is back, because I think she's going to be the first female lead to come back. I mean, I know Michelle Monaghan is coming back for this one, but
Right.
it looks like she's part of the team, and she was so she's one of the best parts of Rogue Nation, and having her come back was the right move. You have Christopher McQuarrie directing and writing this again. I'm excited for this. I didn't hate The Mummy like some people did, but it was a disappointment, and financially, at least domestically, it made, I think, 78 only here. I mean, who would have thought that film would not even break 100 million?
Right.
I think internationally it did a little better. I think over 300. We'll see what happens with the rest of the Universal movie monsters. David?
Yeah, I definitely buy this. I love this franchise. I'm so glad that Tom Cruise decided to stay. 'Cause remember, we thought maybe Jeremy Renner might take over.
Yeah.
And then I think Cruise just had so much fun doing these movies. He just wants to stick around and do them. So I'm excited. I mean, I love this photo. I love the whole cast. It's fun. Tom Cruise said he's been working on like one of the biggest stunts of his life over the past few months. I'm preparing for, I don't know what it's going to be. We haven't seen the trailer yet, but whatever this is, it's going to outdo any stunt he's ever done before. So you know it's going to be over the top.
Space shuttle. It's got to be
Space, it's gotta be in
space.
space. Yeah, it's gotta be in space.
Matt?
Why does he need to do the stunts?
He's a madman.
He is a madman.
yeah.
Like, I applaud him, but at the same time, he's just like, you know what, man? We got stand-ins for this. We got
Yeah.
computers. There's no need for you to hang off the side of a jumbo jet as it takes off. Like, it's a great visual. I
Yeah.
will give you that 100%. But I'll buy this. But it's just a photo. You know, it's a photo of 4 people. It doesn't make me, like you were saying, excited to go see it. It literally is. It looks, the look on their faces are like, all right, we got to stop shooting to take this still. Everybody are like, all right, take it, and just keep moving forward. I'm sure it'll be a good movie. They haven't really put out many bad ones in this franchise. Possibly the second one,
Yeah,
like you
only
said
the second
before.
one, really.
Yeah, everything else has been entertaining and fun. So sure, I'll buy, but it's hard to get too excited just about 4 people in a photo.
All right, guys. Before we move on to Mailbag, we have a few announcements. Actually, a couple weeks ago, we announced a giveaway for Transformers: Force to Fight, which is a mobile game on Android and iPhone. And Rocha, I remember
Yeah.
you talking about this prize package. We actually have a winner today.
We do. Shane Klistinsky. Congratulations, Shane Klistinsky. I'm trying to say that right. At ski_cat. You have won, my friend. We'll be reaching out to you to mail this to you soon. Maybe I'll show up at your house. I don't know. Send me your address. Make sure you're wearing a Transformers shirt when I show up. I mean, give some respect. This is the amazing gift that you got. If you forgot, I can't open it too much
Comes
because all
with
the stuff's
the
going to
Google
fall out.
Pixel phone.
Yeah, I don't want to open too much. It's going to fall out. Maybe. There we go.
Maybe just put it. Oh God.
There we go. Google Pixel phone and everything else. And then you get the awesome Transformers graphic novel that's in there in the drawer. So congratulations to Shane Klistinsky, my brother in Transformers love. There you go.
And then we also have a Schmodown match that one of the guys here is competing in today. Matt, why don't you tell us a little about that? Your battle with the artist formerly known as Finstock.
Oh, what is he going by now? Loser?
Yeah.
What is he? What's his nom de guerre, nom de plume? I'm not sure which one it is.
Tom.
Is it just Tom now?
I think so.
That's kind of pathetic, isn't it? We can all agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just the fact that he's given himself numerous nicknames and he wears a beard over top of his beard, and now the double bearded one is going as solely as, "Hi, I'm Tom." This feels like an AA meeting or something. We all should feel bad for him, and you should feel bad for him because he's going to get destroyed today. All right, just you heard it from these lips. I'm coming up. I'm showing up to take on old Tommy Boy, old Phineas. It's he and I. It's a tete-a-tete. It's a mano a mano. You're going down, my friend. So please tune in this afternoon on Collider at, I believe it's 2 p.m.
2 p.m., yeah.
2 p.m. That is going to be debuting, and there's been some fantastic artwork. So thanks to you out there. There's been a few, especially one that I thought was absolutely brilliant.
Is that the Caddyshack one?
Yeah, the
Brian
Caddyshack
Ward.
one. Yeah, is
Brian
that what he did?
Ward, yeah.
Brian, yeah. My hat's off to you. That thing made me laugh.
And then also we have an episode of Comic Book Shopping. That's our brand new show with Martin Starr, who you may know from Silicon Valley, Freaks and Geeks. He's also the high school teacher in the latest Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. We also have Game of Thrones. We're doing a premiere. We're actually doing reviews for the whole season, but the premiere is this Sunday. Myself, Rocha, Ken Knapsack, and Rachel Cushing are doing that. So watch out for that on Sunday night. We also have a brand new Awesome Tackler episode. You can check out the links and the playlist on our Collider video channel. So let's move on to Mailbag. Sinead, what do we got first?
Brian writes, "Hello, Collider crew. I'm a little concerned about the overall tone of a potential Manson biopic helmed by Quentin Tarantino. While I'm a huge fan, his cinematic sensibilities seem a bit cartoonish for anything resembling a biopic. I just hope that Charles Manson doesn't, yet again, become a trendy pop cultural icon. I personally feel that his story should be a cautionary tale, not another exploitation romp. Your feelings?"
I mean, I definitely think there's a concern there because we all know Quentin Tarantino. This is not going to be a straight biopic. This is not going to be, something like we saw with the Darkest Hour trailer with Winston Churchill or anything like that. This is going to be over the top. It's going to have a lot of violence, a lot of dark scenes. I think that Tarantino may take the Inglourious Basterds route with this thing and just not actually follow, history with what happens to Hitler in the end of Inglourious Basterds. I think maybe some sort of ending similar to that, maybe that happens to Charles Manson. Yes, there is a concern, but hopefully Quentin Tarantino is aware of it, and where he takes this is probably going to be more of maybe a revenge fantasy type of thing. Because I know the family of what's her name, Sharon Tate is against this film. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe they turn her character into someone who survives and takes out. I don't know. That's what I hope for. Rocha?
Yeah, I'm with you, Dennis. I was a little worried. A friend of mine at work told me about this yesterday, and it just kind of made me uncomfortable because I don't want this guy to be glorified in any way, shape, or form. I don't want him to seem cool, have cool Quentin Tarantino lines to say or anything like that. So if they do that with Manson, it'll really upset me. The man is a monster, and he was a monster, and he did terrible, terrible things to people. And he's one of those rare cult leaders that didn't kill himself and was actually caught and put in jail for the crimes that he did. So and I love Tarantino, so I respect the fact that he's chosen this as subject matter. And he is, what he did with Hitler was hilarious for Inglourious Bastards. Maybe he'll have the whole cult turn on Manson and kill Manson in his movie or whatever, like you were mentioning with Sharon Tate. But if Sharon Tate's family is coming out against this, like you're really walking a very, very thin tightrope to make sure people still remember this and are still shocked by what happened with this. And so I'm cautious, but I respect Tarantino. He's never let me down in a movie, I don't think, that I can recall. So I respect that he'll do it right by these people, but it's still a dangerous thing to take on.
David?
I think Tarantino might be the best director out there that can toe the line between seriousness and comedy, maybe better than anybody else out there. I think he always shows respect. I don't think Inglourious Bastards was disrespecting World War II or the sacrifices the soldiers made during World War II. Django Unchained. I remember talking to my mom about it. I mean, I can trace my lineage back to slavery here in the States, so I talked to my mom about it, and she loved it. And she didn't laugh. She didn't find it funny. I think my dad found it funny. I think he laughed a lot, but my mom actually took it very seriously. And I think she was very happy, thought Tarantino showed a lot of respect for antebellum slavery here in this country. So, I mean, I think he's perfect for towing the line. I think there will be comedy. There'll be some dark comedy, but I don't think he'll make light of what's going on here. I don't think he's ever been disrespectful in that way. I definitely trust Tarantino to deliver the goods on this.
Matt?
Well, yeah, but what's interesting about this topic versus all the others, say the World War II or the slavery we've seen so many movie representations and cultural representations of those events, those individuals, and this is, I mean, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can still kind of attribute things to him. You could go and talk to him. Hey, what happened on this day? If if he's not Looney Tunes that day, the guy's out there a little bit, and that's saying it lightly. So I think people actually might end up more offended at this than anything that he's ever done, just because it's almost realer on some level. It's like the Stalin quote of, one person dying is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. Yeah. So when you do like World War II, you can kind of lampoon Hitler just because he's almost this cartoon character. Whereas Manson is very real to a select number of individuals, and they're still alive and they still carry that pain, and there's only so many of them, so you can revisit with them what this means. So Tarantino's done no fault with me, so I'd like to see what he does first before I judge it or condemn him, before I see the final product.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for Mailbag. Now we're moving to live Twitter questions. You can tweet us at Collider Video. Wendy, what do we got?
The first one comes from Goose Clues, who writes, what movie creature would you want as a pet?
As a pet?
Oh,
movie creature.
I want the little dog from John Carter, little alien dog. Remember John Carter?
yeah,
the little
John
fast one
Carter.
who he could run like 100 miles an hour and everything. Yeah, he had this little companion. It was like an alien dog that John Carter had. That was pretty cool.
I mean, when I was younger, I wanted Gizmo, but
Don't get him wet.
I know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of precautions you have to take care of.
It's like a
with him.
puppy and a baby all wrapped in one. Just constantly like, oh my God, oh my God. That's not fun.
No. What about you guys?
I think I'd take a dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. They seem nice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you can fly on them and have some fun. Like, at least there's some utility within that. So why not? That'd be a good pet.
I got two. Is Stitch? Does Stitch count from Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Sure, why
Stitch
not?
would be an awesome pet.
Was he a pet?
I felt like a pet.
Okay.
Right? Does
I
it count? They were putting him in Hawaiian shirts.
No one's going to fight you. It doesn't
I
matter.
just feel like it was a pet. Maybe. I don't know. But I like that. And also the dog from The Drop, the Tom Hardy. That was the cutest dog I've ever seen on screen ever. Like I immediately wanted to jump into the screen and take that dog. So damn cute. So those are the two that I would choose.
What about you guys? Wendy? Sinead?
Well, I got a miniature Falcor at home, so I'm going to upgrade and get a full-size Falcor, the Luck Dragon.
Yeah.
Sinead?
Well, when you said movie creature, my first thought went to Dobby. But I wouldn't treat him as a pet. I would just
Right.
want to hang out with
Poor
him
Dobby.
every day.
He's a house elf. Yeah.
Like my companion.
All right, what's next?
All right, this
Sinead,
go see Wonder Woman.
Friends.
Sinead, go see Wonder Woman.
And I wouldn't make him clean either. I would take him to
Yeah,
Wonder
Dobby was a
Woman.
slave. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, the next one comes from Dan Amos, who writes, how do you all think Logan stands up since Wonder Woman and Spider-Man are out now and both doing great?
For me, Logan is still my
Yeah.
favorite comic book movie of the year. It's actually one of my favorite comic book movies ever. It stands up great. Not to say anything bad about Spider-Man: Homecoming or Wonder Woman. Those two movies are really good. But Logan for me is excellent.
Yeah.
And I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, so it holds up in my eyes.
Yeah, Logan's a whole nother animal. I mean, Wonder Woman's a great film. It's fun. Spider-Man, fun. Logan is something deeper, and it's something more powerful, and it's exploration of, getting older and, progressing to that point where your life goes. And so it's just, I think it just has way more weight to it as a comic book. It's one of my favorite films of the year. Remove comic book
Yeah, me
from
too.
me. Yeah, it's just one of my favorite films of the year.
Yeah, Logan, sorry, is that's my number one of the new superhero films this year so far.
It's nice to see like a good start to finish Wolverine film.
Yeah.
That's why I think, since I'm assuming we all read comic books as kids,
Yeah.
he was easily one of my favorite characters. And just they've come so close so many times. And just like, he was great in it. The movie itself, I don't know about it. Right. Numerous. And they finally have something where it is. I love the older, and he's grappling with a bunch of different issues that my guess is he never thought he'd have to grapple with. And to see the arc of that character. And I also like the fact that the comic books exist in that world. So
Yeah.
that means that maybe the other movies have just been comic book stories, and this is the actual real world. And he's the only, just the idea of the storytelling on the different layers works really well for me. So I thought that movie was excellent.
Yeah, it's personal choice, right? As a man, Logan to me, as an older man, Logan to me gravitates. I gravitate to because I understand what he's going through, right? Wonder Woman is great for its own thing, and there may be other people who gravitate more to that and enjoy what's going on there, and it speaks to them more. So to me personally, Logan just does.
Yeah,
that.
I was watching some of the behind the scenes on the Blu-ray, and they were talking about how the film actually, instead of the Old Man Logan comic book,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were actually using Unforgiven more as a template
wow.
for the film, which you can see
Yeah.
in the film.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Oh my God, somebody in the chat wrote, this is regarding the pet question, John Wick's dog, the dead one.
Oh,
It's terrible.
Oh, you
Oh,
never
that
got to
dog
walk
was
it.
so
You
cute,
don't have
though.
to feed it.
It's terrible. Like, stop it.
It's an easy pet.
Just gotta bury it.
God.
Just say it.
Oh my God. This is going to be the
Oh,
third
kinda
and
dark.
final time Mad Nose comes back to Movie Talk.
What are you talking about? I've only been here twice.
The
This is my
chat room
second
said
and
3
final
times.
time.
The chat room's right.
Who
All right.
says 3?
Everyone in
Thomas
the chat.
Bergstrom writes, would you like to see Peter Jackson return to horror and comedy again?
Yeah, sure. I love The Frighteners. The Frighteners is still a fantastic little film if you haven't seen
yeah, I
it.
remember
Please
that.
go and enjoy that film. Michael J. Fox, one of his rare forays post Back to the Future into a feature film. He does great work. So yeah, why not? Del Toro, I just saw the trailer for Weight of the Water, whatever that is, the new one that's coming out. I saw it last night
The
at
Shape of Water?
Shape of
Shape of Water, sorry. I saw it last night at War for the Planet of the Apes. That looks fantastic, and it's him going back to the well. I think Peter Jackson does a great job when he goes back to this funny horror type stuff, yeah.
I'd be open for. I wasn't a big fan of Lovely Bones, which he did, I think,
Yeah.
after
Oh, God.
Lord of the Rings and before The
darkness.
Hobbit. Yeah, I mean, he did such a fantastic job on Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit, not so much. I know. We got a super fan over here, but
Yeah.
I think he should maybe stay away from fantasy for a while and work in some other genres.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Jackson has built up enough, credit with me that if you want to go back to that, sure, I'll give it a whirl when it comes out. So why not? Why not keep branching out and doing different things so you're pushing yourself? So that if this next one isn't on par with some of the other stellar work that you put out, at least you're exploring new things and you're growing as an artist. So eventually you'll put out something, because we've already seen him do work that's hard to match. I can't imagine anybody else doing those that trilogy. So it's entirely conceivable that he could do it again. So why not just keep striving?
I would love to see him take that big mind of his, and he can just see just way ahead, just way ahead. He can plan way ahead. I'd love to see him bring it to TV. Do a TV series. Doesn't have to be like a multiple season. Do a big mini series, something, some big a fantasy story or something that he creates himself. I'd love to see him go to HBO or something. Give him a big budget and let him work.
All right, let's do one more.
Okay, last one comes from Kevin Billings, who writes, what are some of your favorite fight scenes? Mine is Donnie Yen versus Wu Jing from Killzone because it was all improvised.
They live.
Which,
Yeah.
yeah,
With Roddy
yeah,
Piper
yeah.
and was it Keith David?
or David Keith.
David Keith?
One of those.
No,
Yeah,
Keith,
David Keith.
Keith David is the guy from the Navy commercials. He was Goliath and Gargoyles. Keith David's black guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Keith David.
Because
Yeah.
Keith David and David Keith, you always get confused. I know one's white, one's black, but I mean the name.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got you. I hear you.
Just because that looked like that's one of the realest fights that I've ever seen in a movie. Where it's just like, yeah, that was just like two grown men beating the hell out of each other, as opposed to like choreography and like that. It just looked like two guys, duking it out.
I mean, I mentioned before the Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris fight in Return of the Dragon is one of my favorites, and then also a more recent film, which is Raid 2, the prison yard fight. It was crazy.
But you're fighting then the one in the kitchen.
Huh?
The Raid 2, the one near the end in the kitchen. That was a good fight. What else is out there? Oh, Rocky 4. Rocky 4 is with Ivan Drago.
When Rocky defeats communism.
That's right.
takes him down.
He brings down the Iron Curtain.
Yeah.
Yes,
Single-handedly.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I am with
If you can change, if I can change, you can change, we can change.
In no way was he on early versions of HGH in that movie.
Yeah,
either.
that's right.
You know what I
He
mean?
was
Veins
jacked.
pop out of your cheekbones and everything else naturally. Everybody is-
I've never seen Balboa so ripped.
One of the best training montages ever.
Yeah,
He's in the snow.
lifting the wagon.
yeah.
Oh, it's like, yes.
Running
No
up
pain.
the mountain.
I love
No
the
pain.
mountain, exactly.
just that bend when he's doing
Yeah.
the sit-ups or whatever
He
he's
was
doing with the leg
jacked,
raises.
Doesn't need an
Yeah.
oxygen tank at all. It goes all straight up the mountain. Nope, fine.
Yeah, Drago's just in the gym with all kinds of, early like
Synthesizer.
Yeah, and these just huge old school IBM computers that take up an entire warehouse to just studying his twitch muscles and stuff like that. And you're like, this movie is awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
I'd say the raid, the
Yeah,
first
the
one.
Yeah.
The fight between the two guys in the room.
Oh, yeah.
The two guys against one. Like, that's just an awesome, awesome fight all around. And there are so many great martial arts fights. I don't think I could choose one necessarily, but I know Jackie Chan has some fantastic ones in Drunken Master that are
yeah.
just
First
worth
one or
your
second
time.
one?
First one.
Okay.
Yeah, and the second one too.
Second
yeah,
one's
absolutely.
great.
Both of them. And Iron Monkey too. If you've never seen Iron Monkey, rent Iron Monkey. You will have some fantastic fight scenes, especially when they're jumping off bamboo poles.
yeah.
That is
Donnie Yen.
amazing stuff. Donnie Yen, yeah.
Once Upon a Time in China, if you ever seen that with Jet Li, he's got some great fight sequences in those movies.
And Donnie Yen,
Yeah.
am I getting Ip Man? Donnie
Yeah,
Yen?
Donnie
Yeah,
Yen's in
yeah,
that,
Donnie
yeah.
Yen's
And he was in
awesome,
Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One, that's true, yeah.
All right, guys.
make
That's
me cry.
it for today's episode. I want to thank the people joining us today. Matt, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Matt Knost.
Okay.
What do you want? You want me to spell it out? MATTKNOST. I don't. What else do you want from me? There you go. Watch the match at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm about to be judged by the other 3 people on this as they give a more professional outro. Please show me how it's done.
Rocha?
You guys can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Guys, Matt Knost didn't say it, but I'm going to say it. We are coming back with a Top 10 show on Tuesday on the SK Plus podcast channel. Do we want to tell them the subject matter or do you want to wait?
We might as well wait.
Okay,
They can,
we'll
they
wait.
can tune in on
We'll wait.
Tuesday
There
and
you
find
go.
out.
Tune in on Tuesday. Also, the Outlaw Nation podcast dropped yesterday on the SK Plus podcast channel. There's about an hour and 15 minutes to talk about everything that's been going on in the world. And of course, today, a new episode of the Cinephiles dropped this morning. Steve and I talk about a classic film before the year 2007. So just tune into that on iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube. Is that everything? I think that's everything.
David?
Oh, and Game of Thrones, right?
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones on Sunday night with Dennis and Rachel and the man Ken Knapsack.
There's a huge announcement on TV Talk this Monday. If you want to stay tuned for that, Makuga's got something big to let everybody know. Also, I'll be at Comic-Con, so look for the Hawaiian shirts. I'm going to get me a couple more of these before I go to San Diego. Because it's hot, people. It's hot down there. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at GriffinDE.
Wendy, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at the Movie Couple channel, on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
Sinead?
I'm online at Sinead DeVries and at that'ssosinead.com. I will be back for TV Talk on Monday, and I will be at Comic-Con all next week and at the meet and greet, and hopefully at that live movie talk show too, hanging out in the audience. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys there.
And thanks to Adam and Cody in the back over there, who also will be at Comic-Con with us. And speaking of Comic-Con, we're doing lots and lots of coverage from there. So if you stay tuned to our channel, you see a lot of videos covering a lot of the panels. We're covering movies, televisions, doing some interactive experiences over there. Also, like we mentioned before, the Movie Talk Live, the meet and greet are going to check out our social media channels. We'll tweet out a lot of those details. I'll make a Facebook invite and everything like that. You can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero, on Instagram, Dennis.tzng, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.